Hey guys, it's Lucky here. This is just a little presentation about pot versus pills, a very touchy subject amongst Americans. These are just my viewpoints based on experiences with both, and yes, I have used both, so if you are my friends, don't be surprised. But first off, let me give you a little background before we begin. Let's see here. I just wanted to show you first off that this will only be about California. Even though it is a federal law, there are some states that do heavily endorse pot use, just like Colorado. Anyway, there have been arguments about why pot is illegal in California, and a lot of people are really just afraid of people walking around like zombies. However, there are benefits to pot other than just getting incredibly faded. Although some may argue that is a pretty cool side effect. Anyway. There have been cases in which pot use has cured symptoms of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. For you, those of you that don't know, PTSD is very common amongst people returning from the military. The basically the main overlying symptom is that they have flashbacks to traumatic incidents, such as when they are in the war. It is said that every person has some form of PTSD in them. It just kind of depends on how bad you have it. Okay, now let's move on to the pills. I'll be kind of speeding through this along just so we can kind of get to my experiences, and because my experiences are so much better than everyone else's. Anyway, pills have had much scrutiny, and as this picture indicates, they're supposed to make you feel better, as you can tell by the smiling woman. Anyway, now I'm not going to go into scientific terms because, to be honest, I really don't know them. Anyway. Basically, when you take them for about a month or two, the effects, it should be noted these effects don't actually happen immediately. You have to take them for about 1 month or 2 months before they actually start to affect you. You start to feel better and even a bit less depressed than you were before. Now here's a picture. Let's see. Here's a picture similar to the Army PTSD one. Just kind of showing you that these are both kind of used to treat PTSD. Also, another thing that I didn't add in this presentation was depression. Obviously, pills or antidepressants are used to cure depression. But also, it has been said that marijuana does help depression a lot, just based on some of the emotions that they make you feel. Now, let's get to the main point. My experience! Sorry. Anyway, this is just a disclaimer. I will be sharing some of my opinion of each one. So this is just my experience, okay? So please do not take this at face value, because this is a biased opinion by a very vocal person, me. So please do not believe this just because I have a video on YouTube. It might not get very many views, but still, don't believe it just because I have a video on YouTube. Now, with my experience with pot has, well, you know, there are some pretty funny side effects, even the likes of playing real-life Call of Duty in the streets. But in all seriousness, I really have not had much of an addiction to it. It's mostly, you mostly get addicted to the feeling when you are high that makes you want to come back to it. The feeling is very utopic. You can see the world around you in a new light, and you start to calm down and kind of watch the world go by without really caring what happens. That's why it can be used to cure PTSD and even depression. Now for the pills. I've been on pills for about 1 year to date. If anybody's curious, it's Zoloft. So anyway, and I don't have much to complain about either. The pills had some pretty strange side effects at first, such as losing my libido. For those of you who don't know, libido is your sex drive, just basically how much you want to have sex. And it even did stop me from orgasming. You know, you could go on for maybe like 40 minutes of masturbating, having sex, or anything like that, and not come, basically. And sometimes you would even feel more depressed than you were before. But after those trials, you would start to feel a lot better. You wouldn't feel as depressed, and you know, before you were on the pill. Now, there's somewhat of an addictive property to the pills, because when you start to get off of them, you start to enter a kind of a detox period, just like when you're on alcohol. Basically, you kind of have to wean off of them. Sometimes there's been instances of doctors using sugar, replacing your prescription with sugar pills, so that your body tricks itself into thinking that you're getting the same thing, and so, but once it just kind of weans you off of them. But besides that, so all in all, I just want to say that if pot works for you and you want to use it, then I'm not gonna stop you, and you shouldn't let anyone else stop you, except for maybe the law. Hopefully one day that law changes. And if pills work for you, then use them. Hopefully with doctor's prescription, not under the table kind of stuff. That's kind of dangerous to get. But just make sure that you're taking these in moderation, and try not to get to the point where you're super duper faded with pot. I know it's fun, but please don't do it. It's not, it can get dangerous sometimes, especially if you're driving, or even if you're walking around. And don't get to the point where you overdose on pills. That's extremely dangerous. Okay, you could die from that. And I just want to end on this. This is a tough world, and things like depression and PTSD have been skyrocketing. One day, I do hope that you guys, every single one of you, can find inner peace. Right now, I'm trying to find it, and I feel like I've almost reached that spot. But you know what, guys? That's a conversation for another time. I do hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for listening to my rambling on.